have your attention, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so this Vinnie Colaiuta lick is actually not too hard in terms of the sticking. It just starts off with a left paradiddle, okay? So you can start with that, left, right, left, left. After you get that left paradiddle, it follows with a right, left, left. So after you get that little sticking, all you're going to do is put a flam on the very first note. So as you're starting with the left hand, you're actually going to do a small flam embellishment with the right hand to start. So that sounds like this. So the really tough part about this lick is not actually the sticking. It's the fact that it's a 7-note phrase. And you hear how I was just playing 7 notes and then resting one. Well, Vinnie doesn't do that. Vinnie plays 7 notes and there's no rest, and he starts the 7-note phrase over again, right? So that's the tough part. So that sounds like this. If you took that same sticking and put it without that little rest, this is what it sounds like. Okay, so that being the case, there's this little trick you have to do with your left hand, right? So if you look, if I just play just my left hand, I'll play my right hand on my knee, my left hand on the snare, you'll see the last part of that, the left hand actually does 2 unaccented notes and then 1 accented note right after. So that's the real hard part about this rudiment, is getting that left hand moving to where you could do a couple real small notes and then be able to move fast enough to hit that accent on the end. So watch, I'll play this just with my right hand on my knee and my left hand on the snare, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So it's this little move. You have to get really good at that to be good at this rudiment. And then you can start stringing it together a little faster. Okay, so the next part of this is that Vinnie doesn't just play it on the snare, he plays it around the drum set. Well, if you look at his transcriptions, if you pay attention to his drumming, one thing you learn is what he likes to do a lot of times is he'll just leave his left hand on the snare and he'll move his right hand around the drum set. That's what you saw me doing at the beginning of this video. So if you were to keep that sticking, but just move your right hand every time you started that phrase, you can move it to a new drum. That sounds like this at a slower tempo. Another thing he does is instead of just moving it onto the toms, he'll play it on a cymbal, and when he hits the cymbal with his right hand, he'll hit the bass drum at the same time. So that sounds like this. So obviously, if you get those faster, it sounds really cool. Now, if you're a beginner and you're learning this, you have to notice that this is a 7-note pattern. So it doesn't fit evenly into an 8-note or a 4-note section, right? So if I'll do some things where I play some time on my feet, and you can hear how this lines up with the beat. So this is if I was playing this lick over 8th notes, right? Here we go. Okay, so that's how it fits over 8th notes. You could also do it over 16th notes, which is what Vinnie does a lot. So that would be at that same tempo, 16th notes are a little quicker. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what that sounds like over 16th notes. Another thing Vinnie also does, and this one's a little more tricky, is he plays that phrase, that 7-note phrase, over triplets, which is, it sounds real interesting. Let's say we're at this tempo. and our triplet subdivision is this. So if you were to play this lick over triplets, it sounds like this. So if you start speeding that up. So to apply that to some different beats, for instance, that triplet one could be used over some jazz rhythms. So if you're playing a swing beat around that tempo, that would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say you wanted to play, if you're playing a slow backbeat, like a rock or some sort of funk groove, and you wanted to play that as like a 30-second note fill, that could sound really cool too. But that would sound something like this. So there you have it. That's the Vinnie lick. If you guys like this, please comment, subscribe, share, and down below I actually have a mailing list if you want some more drum lessons. Other than that, check out some of my other videos, and I'll talk to you guys in the next lesson.